Away from that story, some fishermen in the central region are faulting the central regional minister over the lack of supply of premix fuel for their work. The fishermen say the regional minister has opened a new account into which the proceeds of the premix fuel are to be paid, contrary to the accounts being operated by the National Premix Committee, and into which fishermen have been instructed to make payments. The situation, according to the fisherfolk, has led to unavailability of the fuel for them, even though they find themselves in the peak fishing season. Richard Kojonyako has been following up on our story.
For a period of 2 months, fishermen in the central region have not been getting a regular supply of premix fuel. Even though authorities claim everything is okay, there seems to be no improvement in the distribution of premix fuel. The months of June, July, August and September are considered the peak season for the fishermen, where they have their bumper harvest. But the fishermen say they are at their wit ends. At a news conference in Cape Coast today, the fishermen attributed to what they call an alien account that has been opened by the Central Regional Minister for all proceeds of premix fuel in the Central Region to be channeled into. Ishmael Sam Agri is a spokesperson for the fishermen.
The National Premix Secretariat chairman mentioned that proceeds of committee must be paid, proceeds of the community must be paid into account named MOFAB LBC Development Fund, Prudential Bank, Cape Coast. Some days later, instructions came from the Central Regional Minister, Honorable Kwamina Duncan, that no LBC should dare pay any amount into the said Prudential account, other than the Kakum Bank account. Media and all representatives present, payment of proceeds continue through Kakum account up to date. However, we are much surprised that supply of premix fuel has been seized during this peak period, entering bumper season, where fisherfolk need more premix fuel to go for fishing. We, the committee members, have observed that there has been a total misunderstanding between the regional minister and the National Premix Fuel Secretariat, since both of them want to have access to the proceeds, thereby giving different account to the LBCs to put the money into it. A situation which we felt has contributed to the shortage of the product in the region.
According to the fishermen, such an account has operated for a considerable length of time, and thus the regional minister needs to render accounts of his stewardship.
Our request is simple and clear. We want the regional minister, Honorable Kwamina Duncan, to render account to all LBCs, starting from the interim committee to the present committee. According to the LI 2233 and LI 2251, 53% amounting to 11,100,100 in the new currency of the proceeds from the sale of premix fuel was supposed to be kept in an account named of the local community for its development. We are therefore requesting all LBCs to open an account of their own as stated by the LI. We are appealing to the authorities to enforce the laws governing the sale of premix fuel, since this will help to curtail corruption and misappropriation of funds and to ensure sanity.
But the office of the Central Regional Minister wants the fishermen to exercise restraint as the supply of the premix fuel is worked on. Richard Kojonyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Let's now go to the phone lines and speak with our correspondent, Richard Kojo-Nyako, for an update. Hello, Richard. Hello, Richard. If you can hear me, bring us up to speed on what the situation is like now. Has it improved? Is there any improvement you can report about?
Well, the fishermen who use the Premix fuel say that the situation hasn't improved. According to them, for the past 2 months, I mean, there has been irregular supply of Premix fuel, and this is seriously affecting their businesses. And they've also been alerting the authorities, the National Premix Board, and then the regional administration. And there appears to be some misunderstanding between the regional minister and the National Premix Fuel Committee. Whilst the National Premix Fuel Committee says to the fishermen that they should put the proceeds of the Premix fuel into a dedicated account, the fishermen report that the regional minister says something to the contrary and has ordered them to open a different account in the central region where all proceeds along the coast, those who operate the London beaches, should also channel their resources or the proceeds of the Premix fuel into that account. And they believe that it is that one that has culminated in the irregular supply of the Premix fuel. And so that is why they are faulting the central regional minister. But they say that the times that we are in, they are the times that, I mean, they are the peak seasons for the fishermen, that they would have to have some bumper harvest. But it is not the situation now. They do not have Premix fuel to embark on their fishing expedition.
Right. Well, those are facts that we know from the story previously. It does mean that nothing has changed, like you say. But have the authorities or the people who have been mentioned in this story, especially the Central Regional Minister, responded to all of any of these?
Well, yesterday I interacted with the office of the Central Regional Minister, not specifically the Regional Minister because I did not have the opportunity to speak with him, but they told me that the Regional Minister is asking them to exercise some patience while they sort out all the challenges that are coming up. According to him, they are working around the clock to ensure that they would have some supplies so that they can go for their fishing expedition so that their businesses would improve. But on the account, on the matter of the operations of the account, the alien accounts, as the fishermen allege, the office declined to comment on the matter. They said that the regional minister himself will address the matter. So that is what we can report from the quarters of the regional minister.
Well, finally, it looked in your videos that the men are very agitated. Are they still agitated? Are they calm now after receiving that word from the minister?
They are not calm. They still look peeved. They are peeved because as of now, after every 2 weeks, they would have to sit at home. They wouldn't have to go on fishing expedition. I think it's a kind of agreement that they have reached. But the 2 weeks after that one, they would have to get some fuel in order to embark on their fishing expedition. But it looks that is not the situation. I have gone to the Elmina area and I've interacted with the fishermen, and that is what they tell me. I went to Cape Coast too. That is what they tell me. But the regional minister's office indicates to me that some improvement is being stopped, and so we look to the improvements that they are talking about.
Okay, thank you very much. Richard Kojo-Nyako, our correspondent in the Central Region. Let's go over to the Western Region where Francis Waja is standing by. Francis, in the Central Region, of course, they are agitated, as we're just hearing. Are the fisherfolk in the Western Region as agitated as their counterparts in the Western Region?
Well, in the Western Region, we are looking at places like Upper Disco and Lower Disco in the Hunter West District. We are looking at a place like New Takrade and Sekendi in the Sekendi-Takrade Metropolitan Assembly. And then again, we are looking at a place like Shama in the Shama District. In all these places, there have been irregular supply of the Premix fuel. In Upper Disco, for instance, the assemblyman for the area, Frank Diskin, who also happens to be a chief fisherman of the area, tells us that in the last 1 month, there hasn't been any supply at all of Premix fuel. And then again, they contend that especially May to September is the season where they get most cut. And so it is a major problem to them. They are not, right. I would say they are even more than agitated than the folks in the Central.
I see.
Yes.
Well, have they had any assurances, as those in the central region have had, of course, or at least from the minister's office? Have there been any assurances for those in the western region?
Well, it appears the folks down there at Upper District, for instance, are now helpless about the situation because they've complained on several occasions to the Premix committee there. They've not had any positive responses. They've complained to the Hunter West District Assembly. Again, they say there have been several assurances. Anytime they've complained, it's been 1 month now, still nothing positive has come out of it. And so what I can confirm they are planning now is to move further to the Regional Coordinating Council here in Sekanita Krade to lodge a formal complaint with the Coordinating Council, FT.
And whilst you're at it, we know that in the central region there have been a major issue about an account that is being operated by the Premix committee, and of course there's apparently another account that's been set up. Is that the same situation that's affecting the availability of Premix fuel in the western region, or is it something different?
Well, so far, with respect to those that have spoken, they've not touched on the issue of these two separate accounts, i.e. being run by the Premix committee and then another one. The explanation that they've been given to have been one of assurances upon assurances. Those issues have not come up in any of the discussions so far with the Premix committee and the Hunter West District Assembly.
Okay, I'll have you hold a little while because you have some more information away from Premix fuel. An 80-year-old woman and her 55-year-old son today were killed in a fire outbreak at Brewe, which is in Axim in the Nzima East municipality of the western region. Those two, we understand, were burned to death when the building in which they were sleeping caught fire, and that happened earlier today. Give us a brief on what has happened so far. We understand the fire was caused by a lit candle.
Exactly. The area is a new area which is developing, and so although they are connected to the national grid, most houses or homes in the area are not connected. So the use of candle and other sources of light is very, very common in the area, and that is exactly what happened in this instance. They had lit a candle overnight. They forgot to put it out and then slept. And then around 1:30 a.m., the house caught fire. Now, like it rightly said, the man and woman are dead now. But earlier it was the man who passed on before the woman also passed on. She was rushed to the hospital, but then couldn't make it. Now, the latest that is coming out of it is that the fire service says that they're not going to conduct any investigations further into the matter because they are very much convinced that the fire was caused by the lit candle. But the police say that, yes, they will continue with further investigations to find out if there's any other thing that they want to lay their hands on. And then the family as well have also arrived in Barre Azim today. They are treating this as an agency and want to go ahead and then do the burial earlier than probably they had thought.
Right. Thank you very much, Francis Waja. Rather sad incident there for the day, but Francis Waja there reporting for us from the western region. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty, and Apiari.